Hello, everybody. So, I think I'm really happy today because I think today I finally cracked the code. I finally cracked the code of feminism. Lately, I've been watching all these YouTube videos and articles and having all these conversations online with people who thought current day feminism was bollocks. And lots of people seem to be comparing, current day feminism to religious fundamentalism, which I think is a fair comparison. I mean, it sounds harsh on the outset, but I think if you look into it, you will realize that religious fundamentalism, as a rational movement, has the same logical quality to current day feminism. Allow me to elaborate. In religious fundamentalism, and that also goes for some conspiranoia. It's the same logical steps. In religious fundamentalism, religion is born as a way to explain reality. Humans want to explain reality. We all want to understand the world and the universe around us. And so, we try to develop tools to explain that reality. Some of these tools are science. If we want to explain our universe, if we want to explain why the earth or the sun or the skies behave the way they do, why it rains, all that, we look for physics. We create a tool called physics, in order to help us understand all that. The problem with fundamentalism is that it denies that tool. Our religious fundamentalists say, no, physics, that's science. Who needs that shit? We don't need that. So they will try to understand reality without the very same tool that is the best suited tool to explain that reality. And lacking that tool, they need to make up something else to replace it. Like, how would you explain reality without physics? Well, then religious fundamentalists will say, well, there's a supernatural, omnipresent, omniscient being called God, and he's the root of everything. I can explain reality with God, which is like, yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, physics did the trick as well, but if you're happy with that, whatever. So then, because they created God, it's nice to have some assurance, some reassurance that what you believe, does actually exist. So then, fundamentalists will go around reality, saying, see that tiny thing there, that proves the existence is God, the existence of God. Why does it rain? Yeah, rain proves the existence of God. The sun, coming in and out proves the existence of God. The fact that we hear proves the existence of God. The fact that some people are nice and some people are not proves the existence of God or the devil, which is also this kind of larger than life concept that helps explain everything. Feminism does something similar. Feminism tries to, explain reality, which is fair enough. And, it tries to explain that part of reality that has women and men at the center. They try to explain why women and men seem to be doing differently in life. Why do they behave differently? Why do they think differently? We have, a few scientific approaches to that. We have biology. We have physiology, psychology, neuroscience. The problem is, feminism pretty much denies the scientific approach because, again, it's an irrational movement, same as religious fundamentalism. They will deny science, and then when approaching reality, they will say, well, the differences between men and women, are explained with one larger-than-life sort of ominous being that has unlimited power called the patriarchy. And although the patriarchy doesn't exist, they will go around reality trying to justify that choice. And then again, because it doesn't exist, they will cling to any horrible, stupid proof they can find. They say, well, the fact that women choose to dress in a certain way, it's because of the patriarchy. The fact that women take different choices as men is explained by patriarchy. The fact that someone opened the door for me proves patriarchy. The fact that someone was nice to me or was nasty to me proves patriarchy. The fact that, today is Wednesday and tomorrow is Thursday proves patriarchy. Anything, absolutely anything, any small thing will prove, whatever they decided to believe before finding proof. That's called confirmation bias. The same happens with conspiranoid movements. Some people, again, want to explain the state in the world in terms of politics. And politics are really, I think, complicated. And it's really hard to explain politics, why people, why all these political choices are made. And then, as opposed to looking into political science or history or, human behavior, sociology and all that, they will say, yeah, no, that there's a thing, a larger than life concept that governs everything, called the Illuminati. And boom, that's it. They came up with a cool, one-size-fits-all, one sweeping explanation to explain the complex nature of politics. The Illuminati. Again, the Illuminati doesn't exist. So when they go around the world, around reality, they will find plenty of evidence that theoretically proves, that the Illuminati exist. Oh, you see, that politician waved her hand in a specific way. That's a symbol of the Illuminati. Oh, that referendum didn't go the way it should have gone. That the results of that referendum or that poll shows that the Illuminati exist. So we have three different movements, all of them irrational, that have managed to dispel scientific evidence, rational evidence, but then they have created something else instead. Deriving from the human need to wanting to understand your surroundings, which is fair enough. The problem with that is that it doesn't end there. The problem with that is that, if they happen to strike in a conversation with people who don't believe any of those three things, and once they get confronted with evidence that disproves that whatever they claim does exist, they take all these mean attitudes. They either call people out, based on anything, whether it's their gender or their social status, or pretty much they insult people. They insult people, they mock them, they ignore them. You can be making your points, valid points to all of these collectives, but they will freaking, again, either laugh at you, point fingers at you, insult you, based on anything, or block you, under the pretense of anything, under the excuse of safe space, or you've been brainwashed, the shadow of the patriarchy or the devil is so long you don't notice you've been brainwashed, therefore I don't need to talk to you. So not only they will make a proof to support some belief that is wrong, they also will ignore proof that contradicts them, which is quite a dangerous thing to do. But not only these three movements, these irrational movements, have that in common. Not only, it's the fact that they seek to explain reality, which is fair enough. They deny the scientific approach and the rational approach. It's not only that they make up something, for that lack of the good approach of science. It's not also that they will seek proof in the most meaningless things, to to have that confirmation bias that proves that they are not wrong, that they chose the right God to believe in, whether it's God or the Illuminati or the patriarchy. God as in this almighty thing that governs over everything and that helps explain reality. It's not only that they will completely shun any evidence that contradicts them, it's also that if they choose to listen to that evidence, if they choose to engage in that rational debate, because they don't want to lose that rational debate, they're already too far in their ideology, they don't want to step back, they will look for a logical way out of that. It's not illogical because it's quite irrational, but they will look to rationalize their lack of evidence. So, for example, religious fundamentalists, when you say, well, you have no evidence that God exists, and they could answer, you have no evidence that God doesn't exist, which is fair enough. But some of them don't go for that. Some of them says, well, I have no evidence that God exists because God cannot be proven by evidence. God has to be proven by faith. So what they've done here is pretty much say, the thing I believe in cannot ever be disproved. I created this special rule, this exception in logic reasoning that allows for my belief to be untouched forever, absolutely forever. The same thing with Illuminati. If you approach, conspiranoid believers with facts and, say, all these pile of facts prove that what you claim to be true is not, they will say, well, that's because these facts come from studies and from academy that has been, these studies, this research has been tampered with by the Illuminati, which is bollocks. I mean, I guess once you believe in the Illuminati, anything can be said after that. But my point is, the feminists do the same. When, the feminists speak about glass ceilings because it's, their way to explain the reality that women hold a different status on the job market. You tell them, well, okay, let's believe for a second that there is a glass ceiling that, for those of you who don't know, a glass ceiling is the theory that says that women, have this sort of limit to their job careers. They cannot progress further than a point. They cannot attain higher, job managerial positions and all that, or they get paid less when they're CEOs or something. And you say, okay, let's assume for a second that there's a glass ceiling. Where's the proof? Proof there's a glass ceiling. And then they will say, well, actually, there is no need to prove that because, the patriarchy is so intertwined with society that, even if we try to approach it scientifically, even if we try to quantify it, we can't, because we've been sold so much on the idea of the patriarchy that we wouldn't be objective. When you tell the feminists, well, according to this evidence that I'm showing you, there's no evidence that shows that men discriminate women. They will say, well, they don't do it on a conscious level, but they do still do it on a subconscious level. And subconscious cannot be measured. Therefore, my argument is valid. It's a logical trap that makes no sense. I mean, it would make sense, but isn't it kind of, isn't it convenient that these groups have this sort of, last resort in this logical discussion? Because let's say you strike a logical, a rational discussion with these people, which is hard. But let's say you do strike in a rational discussion. They will win by default. They have a default position that will win. By talking to them, evidence from both sides is shown. Interpretation of that evidence from both sides is shown. And, the debate keeps escalating. But then they have like the last winning hand. Because they say, actually, all this talk about evidence is bullshit. Because my position cannot be proven. Cannot ever be proven or disproven by evidence. My position has this sort of singularity by which is immune to evidence. God works in mysterious ways. Therefore, no evidence can prove of this prove what he can do. He is all-powerful, but in ways we, us puny humans, don't understand. The Illuminati are so powerful that no matter what we do, no matter the evidence that we show, they will still tamper for that. They will still hold control over that evidence. Therefore, any evidence you can show me, does not disprove the Illuminati. And feminism does the same. They say, well, the heteropatriarchy exists in a subconscious level, and subconscious cannot be measured. Therefore, I win. In a similar way, people who practice all these alternative medicine, they will say things like, when confronted with evidence that says, I have plenty of evidence that show that your method, to cure people is bollocks, that there's no evidence whatsoever that proves your method works. They will say, well, that's because, this evidence, my medicine is based on things that science cannot measure yet. They will say things like, science needs like 1,000 years more of development to be able to measure my, this method in China, that happened to exist 3,000 years ago or something. Again, that could be true, but isn't that convenient? Like, what are the possibilities that we don't have yet the equipment to measure the impact of a liquid? I'm pretty sure by now we are, quite understandable of chemistry. In it, curious that physics are not still a way to prove or disprove the existence of God. I mean, by now we know quite a lot about physics. And with feminism happens the same. Over the last 30 years, neuroscience has explained, like, very well the differences between men and women. And sociology, although it's, not a hard science, same as maths or physics. So, all these movements, they are irrational and they go through all these 5 steps. 1, they try to explain reality. 2, they deny the evidence that already, explains reality quite well, like, again, psychology and biology in the case of feminism, or they deny the evidence that will come later on, like physics, as opposed to religion. 3, they make up stuff to make up for that lack of evidence and approach. 4, they will seek proof in mundane, stupid things that do not prove that at all. The fact that a man says, "You look pretty today," doesn't prove the patriarchy. It's bollocks. The fact that there's a rainbow doesn't prove God. It's bollocks. And 5, once you successfully engage them in a debate of rationality and logic and evidence, they will have this logic trap, this logical kind of scapegoat in which they trap you in a catch-22. It's a logical fallacy. That's the thing with logical fallacies. You cannot kind of discuss them in a rational level because they're not rational. So, I believe, I'd like to believe I made my case on why feminism is pretty much the same as religious fundamentalism. I cracked the code, I cracked the code, the logical code by which feminism operates. So happy. And you'll think, yeah, okay, that's all well and good, but why would anyone sell themselves on such an irrational, uh, system of beliefs? Well, I think, they offer good stuff. I mean, let me explain. For example, religious fundamentalism. It offers you a way to quickly explain reality. That's really cool. That's really soothing. Oh, why does this? Well, because of God. Oh yeah, of course, because of God. Awesome. Why does that thing there happen? Because of God. Oh yeah, because of God. Duh. It's tempting to develop this one thing that explains all. This sweeping statement that explains all reality everywhere. Any reality you will ever confront can be explained with this one single simple belief. Because of God, because of patriarchy, because of the Illuminati. And again, as humans, we want to, our resources are limited, our time is limited, our brain power is limited. So having a quick explanation for everything is really fucking tempting. Absolutely. I mean, I understand that. Not only they provide you with a way to explain reality, they also provide you with a mission, a purpose in life. The purpose of religious nuts are, whatever the commandments are. They tell you how to be happy. They tell you how to live life. They tell you what you must achieve to be, a whole being, which is pretty awesome. You don't even have to think for yourself. I mean, that shit is amazing. Same happens with the Illuminati. They have a sense of purpose. They need to awaken other people. Their mission is to topple the Illuminati. And because they will be trying to topple something that doesn't exist, they will never succeed. So they will spend all their lives trying to topple something that doesn't exist. So you would say, well, they would fail. Yeah, of course they will fail, but all their lives, they're going to be super entertained doing that. I mean, they will never have a moment of boredom. I mean, yeah, they don't need any other hobby. That's the thing. They need to topple the Illuminati. That's fucking amazing. I would love to have a goal like that. I don't, unfortunately. That's why I'm depressed or something. Same with feminism and patriarchy. And number 3, they make you a hero. They feed your ego. I'm a good Christian. Of course you are a good Christian. Have an ego boost. I follow the commandments. I have a family. I make my wife happy. I have beautiful children that they are Christians as me. Of course, that feeds your ego. That's amazing. I'm the only one who's awakened from this dream in which the Illuminati has put us on. I'm the only one, or we are the only ones. They're usually a small group. We are the only ones who have been awakened. So we are the example to follow. People should look up for us. Once everybody else awaken, they will acknowledge that we were right all along. They must listen to what we have to say, because we are the bearers of the truth. Same with feminism. If I'm a woman who is doing a job that has been traditionally done by males, if I am one of the few women in the workplace, I am a liberated woman. I'm treading over territory no other woman ever has, or few women ever have. I'm special. I'm an example to other women. I've awakened, and so will other women if they listen to me. And yeah, and as a feminist woman, let me tell you, how sexist you are. Let me tell you how to be, how to behave, how to live your life. Because I'm the example, I am the bearer of the truth. I'm the person you must look up to. But here's the fucking thing. No one looks up to you. And no one should look up to you. Whether you are a Christian fundamentalist, or just a religious fundamentalist, whether you believe in the Illuminati, or whether you're a feminist who believes in the patriarchy, no one should look up to you because you are part of an irrational movement, highly rational movement. And while I don't think in a society based on, or I'd like to think based on evidence and facts, so someone should look up to someone who's irrational. That makes no sense. So again, let's recap, because this is long as fuck. Let's recap the points. Feminism works the same as any irrational system of beliefs, or current day feminism. The feminism had a point at some point, but it doesn't really hold a candle to any rational thing now. So feminism, same as these movements, try to explain reality, denies all the tools and evidence that already do that, or Then they will make up stuff to replace that, which is bollocks. They will seek proof to prove that thing that doesn't exist, and that proof is bollocks. And if confronted in a debate based on evidence, they will look out for these logical catch-22 by which they will ever win. And as a trade-off for all that faulty logic, for suspending your critical thinking, you get three cool things, which is a quick explanation of reality, which is something we would all desire, a sense of purpose, which is always we all desire, and it feeds your ego because you are the hero of the story that you tell yourself, which is quite a cool thing. So yeah, I don't know, tell me your thoughts. I think pretty much that's all I had to say about it. See you next time.